My name is Christina Griffin. I have an awesome team in Tampa / Orlando, Middle Florida, the Griffin Group. I do teach
Sorry.
dominant off-market listings, and it is a
To
MAPS
make the
fast
cost,
track. If we have any, I'd say people that come off mute, just make sure that you guys raise your Zoom arm. But if anyone comes off of mute, I will just pause to let our administrative be able to help manage the Zoom account. Just wanted to let you guys know. So again, thank you so much for being here on absolutely every level. I do have a large real estate team. I teach MAPS Fast Track, dominate off-market listings. I am the community leader for Keller Williams Relocation. I only teach things that I've done and implemented into my business on a super high level. I personally have done over 5,000 distress transactions off market, REO corporation. I love data. Data, I completely nerd out on every level. I'm very passionate about helping empower you with the tools to create massive opportunity. So we're going to share with you here today things that you can actionably go and do in your own business, things that you may or may not think about. But for me, I'm going to simplify what a golden letter is, why I use it, a way that you can immediately go do that in your business and create massive market share. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I'm also a mom, 3 kids. Tons of work-life balance. So I always teach on hacks and things that you can do to simplify your world. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share with you some nuggets before I get started. Those of you that have not been on a webinar or been on something that I've taught, I always try to provide as much content as possible. So you are here hearing something that you can go implement into your business. So you're going to be able to get resources. You're going to be able to get things that I share with you and actionable things that will allow you to go, regardless if this is a free webinar or not, go and do and work in your business. My goal is to empower you with the tools to create massive opportunity, create awareness, and maybe some things you do or do not do. I would love anyone that does do golden letters, they do it effectively, or you've done them in the past. I always love to hear experience. If anyone has done them in your own marketplace and it's created opportunity, I would love you to share in the chat. I may call on you if we have time, but I would love you to share on the chat. So I'm going to share with you first and foremost, golden letters, winning client strategies. Right now, a lot of you are in the month of January. You're looking at your P&L. You're trying to decide, do the things that I spend money on actually work or not? These are what I'm going to show you is something that will work. We just have to do the activity and action to create results. That is the biggest thing. More activity, more actions, it's going to create results. So the biggest thing I would say to you around golden letters and what those are, it is a letter, and gosh, it was around when COVID started. Everyone started calling them golden letters because it was a letter that you sent out that was pure gold, that created opportunity. In essence, it is I have a buyer. Would you be willing to sell your home? Now, I'm going to show you how to identify and use tools instead of sending to 1,000 people in a neighborhood, narrowing down to the people that are more likely to sell. This approach is going to help you have more effective marketing and better results. Now, I'm very passionate about something called data mining. Every one of us as real estate agents should learn what data mining is and should become masters in it. It is the ability to take data and create opportunity. Investors have been doing this as soon as since the beginning, and there are a lot of tools that are available to help simplify and streamline things for you. I'm going to give you an example of data mining for all of you to relate to. Expired listings. Many of us prospect expired listings. Expired listings is ready, easy, available data that some of us wake up each and every day, and that is one of our non-met sources of creating opportunity in our world. It's easy to find, or we have a system we pay for that makes it easy to get, and then we have a strategy. So I am going to show you today just some different other options, but again, expired listings is a great concept around data mining. I want you to think about golden letters, all the expired listings in your area, everybody that is calling them. They have ISA teams, they're TCPA compliant. Gracie, let's make sure we drop the TCPA compliant, the TCPA disclaimer in the chat for everybody as well. When you pick up the phone and call, being TCPA compliant is 100% non-negotiable what everyone has to do. We're dropping the disclaimer so you understand what that looks like. Why I mention this is I want you to imagine what would it look like if instead of calling TCPA compliant, you mailed or you door dropped a simple letter or a simple expired packet to people that became expired. How many expireds in your market, other than phone calls, do you believe people reach out to? There are other strategies that you can do to create opportunity and set yourself apart. Data mining is a way to identify people likely to sell, and there are many different layers on what that looks like. And I will give you many examples for you before we're done here today. Data mining could be social media, it could be public records, it could be life events. And what I mean by that, it could be they got married, they had a baby, job change. It could be a probate, a divorce, a bankruptcy, an IRS lien. It could be that they're delinquent on the property that they currently live in, or potentially they the worst thing in the world, they had a death. I always say, and you know, those that may have heard me speak before, is I am passionate around teaching on life events. I personally have had a lot of death. My mom, dad, and sister died all 9 years apart, and I wish that I knew what I knew now during what the time that I dealt with and still deal with, right? When we lose a loved one. I've been through a divorce before. I happily married for 18 years with 3 beautiful kids. But going through those life events and having somebody that understands what they're going through, I'm really passionate about helping teach you as agents what it takes to make that happen. So again, those are just some examples of data mining based upon life events or what they're going through. It could be an investor in your area that's looking to buy whatever property fits their buy box, and they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home under 2,500 square feet, under 500,000. There are different investors that have different buy boxes. Data mining is the act of being able to take what they want and finding exactly what's available. Golden letters are what I call the conduit to get your foot in the door regardless. Think about for sale by owners. How many people pick up the phone and call for sale by owners, and they're just calling because they want to get the listing? If you had a buyer that wanted to see the property, then in essence, that gets your foot in the door and gives you the ability to build rapport with the seller to create a potential transaction. I'm going to show you in just a second examples of letters, examples of things for you to get started. But I want to just slow down and share with you some real data. All right, hold on. My goodness, this chat is amazing. Okay, Yes, we have alumni codes. We have a lot of great things. Gracie will make sure to share those for you guys. The last person that shared their information was Boise, Idaho. Barb, great seeing you. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to show Barb, and I am just going to show you what I mean by tools and resources. This is one of my favorite. You guys are going to get a free 30-day trial for this. There's also tools within your multiple listing. Remine. Remine, one of my absolute favorite tools that's free in your multiple listing. That is a great free way to be able to, create opportunity in a world that maybe you may not realize is there. So Remine, if you guys have it, check out Remine and I teach you how to use it. So we don't have Remine in our MLS. Totally okay. So Remine is okay. Don't worry, you will receive the letters and things I'm going to share with you here today. So Barb, on this particular system, and I'm just showing because I want to show you just a real live example of the last person that posted their area. They do not have a lot of pre-foreclosures in this system, and it's okay because I'm going to check another one. So they have 76 pre-foreclosures. That's an example of data mining, guys. You have vacant properties that are deemed vacant by the U.S. Post Office, 1,160. You have liens. You have 1,167. You've got pre-foreclosures, which I already shared that number. 31 bankruptcies. You've got properties in divorce. You have 19. Tax delinquencies, 3,715. Pre-probate, these are death certificates, 116. Guys, this is just an example of data mining. This is an example of how we can pull opportunity in our direct area and how we can take that data to create opportunity through golden letters. Now, expireds, here's a great one. There are, let's check, expireds, there's 6,354 that have not relisted. So again, Boise, Idaho versus Chicago, Illinois. And Chicago, Illinois has, I think, 15,000 pre-foreclosures. All of us have different types of opportunity in the area we live. Having that data and utilizing the golden letter to connect with that data with the right message will create massive opportunity for you. And again, that's part of something I am 100% passionate about using. Now, Remine. On this webinar, this is a less than 30 minutes where I'm going to answer questions for you. We do not go through the step-by-step when it comes to utilizing Remine. Remine is a free resource. Remine is something your MLS will have. High sell scores via Remine is an amazing opportunity to utilize. They do report on pre-foreclosures and there is some expired data as well, but it only updates normally once or twice a month. Now, why am I sharing these things with you? Why I'm sharing these with you is I want to make sure that you're able to understand the opportunity in your area. Golden letters, okay? Golden letters is, and the message around golden letters. And part of why I'm sharing opportunity with you is it's one of the biggest strategies around golden letters and how to create opportunity. Golden letters are, we're going to identify the geographic area that we focus on. Then we're going to determine our message. Now, here are 4 different examples of messages. I have 20 plus letters I'm going to share with you before we're done here today. The message around golden letters is, would you be interested in selling your home at the address, or would you be interested in selling your home to a client of mine? We just sold your neighbor's house at, or your neighbor's home just sold at, and then you advise around how many offers, how far over list price, how many buyers potentially went through. Again, this is a message that you craft based upon the situation. It could be an open house that you did, and we just did an open house for your neighborhood. The property went under contract. We had over 50 people that walked through the home. Would you be interested in potentially knowing what your home's worth? So again, that's the concept. Golden letter is gold via a letter or a message. Now, for me, the magic and the winning strategy is creating the list of the people that are likely to sell. So I shared with you that you have Remind. You've got free tools within your multiple listing. Expireds are another great option. My favorite are pre-foreclosures. You have bankruptcy, you have divorce, you have tax liens, and everything in between. Today, I will share with you some free resources in my class that's getting ready to launch a new, just upgraded advanced version. We'll also work with you on how to find these resources, empowering you with the tools to pull these lists. Having a golden letter go to people that are likely to sell is going to create more opportunity. Now, here is the biggest thing I want to hone in around the whole entire concept is choose your marketing vehicle. Multiple touches create multiple results. So you're going to have a letter, you're going to have a TCPA compliant call, and you are going to have a door drop. That is the simplest way to look at how you're going to connect with the people that are likely to sell. I personally prefer a good folded letter. I love send out cards. Simple, easy, and you're able to send it to anybody that fits the criteria of the letters that you're going to send. Your virtual assistant is also able to send those cards for you. It does not have to be you. It could be your admin or your staff doing it, and you're leveraging it. But you have to know that the multiple touches create multiple results. Many of us, like I said, prospect for expireds, and we do not call the people on the do not call. Imagine all the expireds every day sending a message to them about how you can help them, how you're working with buyers in their neighborhood, and to see if they would be interested in knowing what their home is worth. Now, there are different conversions based upon different areas and based upon you and the way that you're connecting with clients. Now, folded letters, ideally, if you send out 100, you should get a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Door hangers goes up to 2. And then even more around greeting cards, multiple touches, and everything in between. Now, I say this to you guys, I want to simplify it for you in the best way possible. Please don't pull a list and give up after your first round. Many of us will mail a list of letters to a neighborhood that we farm. When you target certain categories and you target it to specific data, it's going to help create a lot more results. Okay. Now I'm going to share with you a folder that you can download a bunch of letters. I have a ton of letters that are available to you. And these letters are something that I would say to adapt, whether it's using ChatGPT to adapt them to your own voice. But take a look at these letters and see what works best for your area. I highly recommend to take in whether it's a few hundred letters that you have in your cart at all times. If a client does not show up, maybe they're running late on a showing. If you do 10 doors to the left and 10 doors to the right, when you go out and you drive to a property to be able to connect with a client, and maybe they're running behind, I promise you this is going to create opportunity and it's going to create future listings. Now, I have a golden letter in a different reimagined way that I want to show you and I want you to think about. Many of us have a ton of we have a ton of desire to create listings, but we may have this inside voice saying, I don't have buyers. So I personally do not feel comfortable saying I have a buyer that's interested in buying a home when I don't have buyers. So one of my favorite golden letters, and I call this a golden letter reverse style, is reaching out to investors. Investors that are in the area that you specifically focus in, and telling them that you have you prospect for off-market properties and you are interested in helping them find homes. We have the conversation and everything in between. But I'm going to show you just an example. I had Barb up here because I was looking at Boise, Idaho. But I want you to imagine, guys, if you had the right tools and you had the right resources in the area that you specifically focused in. And again, a lot of us are here today thinking golden letters, I don't have a lot of buyers. Well, I want you to think about going after those buyers and thinking big and dreaming big for potential opportunity for yourself to create relationships with investors. Investors are a great way to create massive opportunity. When we reach out to an investor and an investor that is buying homes in an area that you focus in, and the conversation with that specific investor is, my name is Christina Griffin. I am an agent that focuses in an area that you own multiple properties in. I want to know if you're interested in buying more or if there's anything I can help you with. It will create investors that you can truly feel good about sending those golden letters for, and allow you to connect with people that are buying and selling on a high level. I just pulled up somebody random, an individual owner in an area that she said that Barb is in, and an individual owner that's easy to connect with. So that person that owns 214 properties with over $27 million in portfolio value that still is actively buying property, that is a great opportunity to understand who in your area is still buying and who could potentially want to buy more, or if you can help them sell their properties or rent their properties. So I'm going to show you where the resource I just shared with you. Yes, there's a lot of cash buyer sites. There's a lot of opportunities as well for you guys that will create multiple opportunity. But I want you guys to think about that. It's golden letters, and that's the magic strategy, is we're focusing the golden letters on specific data. But if we don't have enough buyers, or we don't have buyers or go-to ones in the area that we live in, how do we take the lens off and we see who owns multiple properties in the area that we live in and connect with them to see if we can help them find more? Whether it's renting properties, whether it's a matter of helping them sell the properties that they're in. This year in 2024, institutional investors have hundreds of thousands of properties that they own, and many of them are going to be selling a lot of their inventory because they want to get rid of, I call it the ones they paid too much for, to make room for the better properties. So there is an awesome opportunity when we learn how to find investor relationships or our own buyers and connect them with the available inventory. All right, so I'm at the 30-minute mark. Right here is my blog. My blog here is download tips to get more referrals. So we have hundreds of you that are going to listen to this on the rewatch. ChristinaGriffin.com. Download tips to get more referrals will open up to an entire drive that's going to give you all the letters. It's going to give you the tools and resources that I shared with you here today. Many of you reached out before to say that you have not done anything with golden letters. You did not know how to make it effective, and you wanted to make sure that you had the simple resources and tools. In here, I do share my letters. I do share the marketing flyers. I do as well share the data source that I shared with you here today under links to share. There's a 30-day trial here for you. It does not have to be the specific resource I shared with you here today. I like to use that one because it allows me to be able to show you throughout the country what's going on in your specific area, whether it's Remind or absentee owners. Ideally, we need to pick what we're going to do, and we need to have the method to deliver. And I will tell you, it will create a lot of results for you. I am going to highly encourage every one of you, and this is part of something I coach on, and we've got an awesome launch getting ready to happen that I'd love you to be part of. If you want to know how to navigate probate and divorce and bankruptcy and pre-foreclosures and find those investors and have those relationships, that is absolutely something I work with you on to help you do. In the folder that I'm sharing with you, and I'm going to drop the direct folder in case you guys would like it as well. You're right here. It's going to give you a copy of some of the links and resources. My site should give you all of the tools. We are going to also email those to you, but I want you guys to know that in here, it's going to give you a lot of the resources that I share. And part of those resources for you are going to give you as well the letters, the links, and the favorite tools that I work with. But I want to give you a basis before we go here today, because some of you may be here thinking, Christina, I don't have the funds. I'm looking at cutting quite a bit. Maybe I'm going back to my full-time job and I need to find a way to create massive inventory quick. I want you to know that this method of prospecting is something that anybody can do regardless of the funds that you have in your checking account. And I call that sweat equity. And why I say that to you here today is it works, and it does not have to be crazy, fancy, overcomplicated. But my favorite links are in here as well. Some of you may have heard me teach and share this before. Good old Astro Bright paper, bold paper, 500 sheets is less than $20. So taking a colorful sheet of paper, printing a golden letter, and in addition to that, I am a big fan of good old-fashioned coupon bags. You can go through Vistaprint. That's what I prefer. I'm printing on bulk door hangers, but it could be as simple as taking coupon bags. Many of you have in areas that you live in, people that will do that and put it on the door. But it could be as simple as taking this and prepping and planning and having hundreds of them, where you either leverage them to somebody on your team, maybe an older child, someone that is in your market center that you work with, that maybe their production is not to the level that's needed. And you can leverage this and do this without any issues. Why I share this with you guys, this is a true example of you can create massive opportunity, and it does not need to be super expensive expensive and overcomplicated. So I'm going to encourage every one of you to create a letter that is generic, that crafts to you and your branding. Have it prepared so regardless of what's happening, if you haven't got your calls in, your prospecting, you had an appointment cancel, even if it's walking down a street and putting the golden letters out in an area that you're allowed, because I know some of your states have peddlers licenses and things like that that you have to use, but being prepared will help you create opportunity. The other thing is many of you are going to have the ability on a minimum to find expireds or pre-foreclosures. Go get those out. Get at least 100. Pick at least 100. Put one on the door. Do 10 to the right, 10 to the left. Get into habit. Even if you start 2 hours a day on a Friday afternoon and you get out and you do this, it will create opportunity. Granted, I know that many of you are in states, it's cold and it doesn't feel good to go out and do the door drops and things to that nature. I would say for you, there are other ways to touch, or we bundle up, because what we're not willing to do or not wanting to do, more than likely someone else isn't as well. So it also cuts down on the competition. I want you guys to be safe at all times, but I want you to look at data creates massive results, and I want to empower you with those tools. Why I like, and I'm going to open up for questions in a second. Why I like focusing on data. I want you to imagine a pre-foreclosure. A pre-foreclosure, they have the ability to either catch up on their payments or do a workout agreement. The house gets foreclosed on, or they sell their home. How many things do you do in your current world other than sphere and referrals is a 1-to-4 ratio that if you get into relationship with them, they're going to work with you. The same thing happens with divorce and bankruptcy and other life events. So when we utilize a golden letter and we focus it on the right data and we do multiple touches, it's going to create amazing results. Okay. All right, guys, I hope for those, maybe this was a reminder. I want you to know that there are a ton of tools, ton of resources out there that could also be free that will allow you to create massive opportunity in your world. There are a ton of questions that I think will provide a ton of value to everybody here. I would love, I've got about 10 minutes. Feel free to raise your hand on Zoom and let's power through some questions. Let's have some fun. If it's something specific to my class, I'd love you guys to email Christina Griffin at kw.com or anything specific based upon anything that is going on in your world or a specific situation. But I want you to know that this is a real method that works. And when we focus on specific people, it will create amazing results. So, all right, guys, let's have some fun. Who wants to raise their Zoom arm and talk to me? Anyone?
I don't know how to raise my Zoom arm, but I have
All
a
right,
question.
I would love that. Talk to me.
Okay, so I've been on Remind for like the last 2 days. I have my letters, I have everything ready to go, and I wanted to do pre-foreclosures, but when I look up all the data, it looks like they've already went to auction. Is there a way to get around that, or what do I do?
Well, so that's the issue with a Remind system is Remind only updates once a month. Do you have IMAP or do you have Realist and your multiple listing for free?
Yes. So when I found it on Remind, I went to Realist, and that's when I saw that it went to auction like 4 months ago.
Yeah, so here's the issue. You're going to have free systems and then you're going to have paid systems.
Okay.
The free systems do not pull the data like like normal. There a lot of times it stays on there. There are other systems, unfortunately, that you have to pay for that will give you that specific list. Now, in my class, I do pull the list for you guys. We have a data request form that helps you with having the tools and understanding. Now, depending on your state, are you in a non-judicial or a judicial state? Because if you're in a non-judicial state, it's a whole different set of tools and resources that you have to use.
So I moved to Kansas from California 6 months ago, so I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
would love information on your class.
Absolutely. So what I want you to do is I want you to email Christina Griffin at KW. I want you to give me your county and I will pull the list for you and we'll give
Awesome.
you all the
Thank
details.
you. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. All right, Randy, talk to me. How's it going today?
Good, thank you. I'm wondering, what do you do when you send out a letter on behalf of a buyer? Let's say you have a buyer, and
Mhm.
then you get a response from a seller, and either the buyer's already been satisfied or the house isn't quite right for your buyer. How do you transition into getting a listing?
It's a great question. So that's why I'm a big proponent of creating those investor relationships because Randy, you're going to have it could be a first time home buyer or someone that wants a specific property. Um, that ideally when you talk to a seller, can I come by and take a look at the property? I would like to take some photos and I'll be able to connect with you directly to see if this is a great fit for my client. As an example, most of the times they're going to let you walk through the property, let you view the property. You can always present that, based upon, hey, there's one less bedroom. Hey, unfortunately, my client bought another property, but I have an investor that will pay this. But it could be as simple as saying, my investor can absolutely purchase the property. It could be, Randy, at 50% of value. But ideally, the simplest thing is I have a buyer, they can pay this or I can list it on the open market for this. Which one works best for you?
Yeah, sounds great.
Different
It doesn't
people,
always
different
work out,
options
but
too.
No, I'm going to tell, it doesn't always work out.
Everything was personal,
For
so
you,
I need to be somewhere where it's a little bit more.
Gracie, can we mute? For you, Randy, I agree with you. It doesn't always work out. So if the buyer that we have doesn't like the house or it's not a fit for them, being open and transparent with the seller to say, you know what, hey, that buyer unfortunately found a home already. I'm so thankful that you called me back, but I would still love to view the property because I'm working with multiple people in the area, or I heavily prospect to work in this area. Usually sellers will let you go to the property, or you can share that you have an investor. I understand it doesn't always work out, but having that second option, or just letting them know that they're not available anymore, but you would love the opportunity to take a look at the property. In many cases, they'll let you. If they will not, I normally asking permission to stay in conversation with them is a good option. Hey, can I follow up with you? I'll work to try and find another buyer.
yeah, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just didn't want to seem like a bait and switch.
That's why I like the investor angle. I agree with you on the bait and switch. So that's why, to me, a big component is learning how to find those relationships, because most of our areas, there's large institutional investors that will also allow you to have the ability to, just as long as it fits in a square box on the math, they'll buy the property. So I understand you. So thank you for saying that. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I do want to mention, guys, everything I teach, it truly works on any asset class. So if you're looking from multifamily to land or commercial, this concept will work on any asset class that you are dealing with. You may just have to change the message slightly to fit what they're looking for. All right. How do you say your name, dear? Is it Guillermo?
Guillermo.
Okay, thank you for raising your hand. How can I help you? And I'm going to end with Melanie, guys, because we'll run out of time before that. But you guys are more than welcome. So I'm going to answer the next 4, and then we'll you guys can reach out if you guys have any specific questions. And I'm here to support you. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah. So my question is, as far as like once we've gotten a targeted list and we're prospecting in the different forms you showed, how long should we continue at it prospecting to that specific area or list before deciding to reallocate somewhere else if it's not really working out or converting like months, years, like what?
So that's a great question. So I'm going to give you an example. If you have a farm and maybe that farm, you have 250 homes and you're going to have a plan every month to touch them. And I always say for up to a year, but I'm in a market that has thousands of opportunities every single month. So you're going to decide, and that's part of what I teach, is you're going to decide what your budget is. And what I mean about what your budget is, you could say, I'm going to spend $500 a month. So you're going to decide when that happens, how you're going to touch them and how frequently. So you may send at the beginning of the month a list for that 500. Some agents, they're going to decide, maybe I'm going to focus on notice of defaults. That's when a pre-foreclosure becomes public record and expires. That's a daily activity. So for me, I like to touch at the beginning of the cycle and the end of the cycle. So if it's a notice of default, it's the beginning. And then here, it's when the foreclosure sale date happens, it's at the end. So for you, I'd have to look and see what your budget is and who you're touching. If you're touching things that frequently get updated, we have to look at what our method is. Multiple touches create multiple results. Anyone that raises their hand and says, sure, reach out, yes, call me back, or yes, maybe I'll be interested, we nurture those. Some agents on here that I know their business on a high level, they're in markets, they focus on pre-foreclosures, and their pre-foreclosures may only be a few hundred. Most of us have a few thousand. They will do 2 to 3 or 4 touches before they give up on them. So again, loaded answer, but I hope that made sense for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Is it Damon?
It's Damone, thanks.
Damone, I was going to say that, but hi, how can I help you?
So my question was actually pretty similar to Guillermo's. It was basically cadence, total number of touches. And I take it, from your response there, it depends on the list type and your area.
List type and budget. So I know and work with some agents that will send, they have a budget where they do 10,000 mailers a month. Some it's all sweat equity and they'll only do a few hundred. So it will truly depend on the budget, the area, and what type of list. And those are things that I definitely teach and I help with.
Got you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. Hi, is it Amir?
And the MLS number.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm great. How can I help you?
So I just have 2 questions. The
Okay.
first one is, are you going to be on Keller Williams family reunion in Las Vegas?
Yes, I have a booth. So I'm one of the co-community leaders of relocation. So I'll have a booth. So definitely come by and see me. And I'll be in the app as well. I'm leading a mastermind there. So I would love to meet you.
That's awesome. And then my second question, in a small town like the one I live in, like 35,000 people,
Okay.
I mean, Honestly, I love what you're preaching here, and I've been trying and doing most of it, a lot of it for the past 8 years. Which one would you probably most likely recommend doing the most when it comes to smaller towns that loaded with some agents that trying to do the same thing as you?
Well, what I would say to you is I would need to know your town. And then I also would, for you, look at what homes are selling. So they're always the life events are going to sell. The expireds do sell to a point, and then you're going to have everything else. So I don't know if you're familiar on the turnover and what does or doesn't happen. Life events is shift proof. So if you focus on life events, that's a shift proof business, because sometimes you can have high delinquencies and then sometimes you don't. So again, that on an order of importance, I would say a foreclosure sale dates, pre-foreclosures, expireds, probate, because unfortunately, no matter where we're at, people die and pass away. So you're going to have death certificates and probate. Then you're going to have the other core life events. You're going to have divorce. You're going to have bankruptcy. You're going to have IRS liens. The other life events, and then there's everything else. For me, I would need to look to see if you have investors that are buying certain properties within certain buy boxes. But anything, regardless of any area you guys are in, the life events they have to sell regardless of what's happening in their world. So those are the things, Amir, that regardless I would have you focus on, and then you build and grow.
That's awesome. Well, I would appreciate it if you can check for me. I put where I'm from. If you have any apps that would actually share or expose me to that information,
Please,
others I'm going, yeah.
please email me, because I think we have 100 pages of chat, and unfortunately we don't have all the time in the class to do
You
it.
bet.
But feel free to email me, and I'm happy to give you certain specifics. But guys, regardless of where you're at, no matter what happens in the real estate business, a shift-proof business is servicing, impacting people that are going through life events. Because regardless of what happens in our world, the life events and the things that they go through, they're going to have to be able to sell that, or it's the have tos. They're deployed. That's another thing I teach on how to be able to find people that have a VA loan that potentially are going to be PCOS and have to move. So that these life events are regardless of what happens in our industry. So that's the starting basis. And then you learn to focus on finding the 3 bedrooms or the house that's a specific size, things that are not on the market. And most of us think that, hey, a lot of things, our market's limited, but when we look and we can see, wow, this many sold off the market, it will open your eyes up. And that's something I create awareness on. Melanie, go ahead, my dear.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. Actually answered the question or challenge I'm having. I have two questions. Number one is houses, specific houses, distressed houses that I've emailed or not emailed, sorry, to go letter to at least 3-4 times, combination of handwritten and, I have a buyer, etc., and have gotten no response. So the question one is, what's the follow-up to that? Second question is,
are you still there, dear? Okay. Gracie, I think we lost her, right? So she asked about the 3 or 4 times on mailing and not getting a response. We have to, if we get a mailer back or we send a letter, and if it bounces back to us, that means the property is vacant. And that means that they've abandoned the property. So that's where we have to understand how to find the phone number via TCPA compliance to reach out to them, or we find where they moved to. We can also try and locate them on social media. We can try and locate them on LinkedIn and things to that nature, but there's different layers. Then we can go out to the property. Some of the properties that are abandoned, you're going to see a sign in the window that says that somebody secured the property, and then we're going to call them. I am a very big proponent of teaching you guys how to become hunters. And being able to hunt for opportunity. So guys, and I'm sorry that she lost signal. She can absolutely email me for any questions. I just want to end with, there are tons of questions, not enough time today to answer. You can absolutely reach out if you would like me to help you answer the question. Some asked, is this the same as my other class? No, it's not. This particular class is, I call it Dominate Off-Market Listings 2.0. We have our standard to teach you the principles and things to be able, from becoming a bank-owned agent to doing BPOs to working with investors. Now we have added a second day for those that would like to do, I call it higher level, from bankruptcy to divorce to probate, higher level content. Some of you will just join for the higher level and some will join for this, or both. You do get up to 60 days after the very last class to be able to circle back. I'm excited about this launch. I've got a lot of exciting things planned. I'm thankful you guys spent an hour of your day with me. The recording will be put on the MAPS YouTube page, and we will also be sending you resources and details. So thank you again. Graham, sorry I went long again, but thank you guys for being here, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. So stay warm, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.